Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to yet another exciting halal food podcast. Today we've got one of the known faces in the UK halal sector. He's given us some time to talk about the operations of his abattoir, and we are hoping that people will get to learn more about our interaction with Rizvan Khalid today. Managing a Muslim abattoir is not just about complying with conventional regulations. There are other ethical or Islamic ethical components of managing a Muslim business. So for instance, whether you have welfare facilities like a place of worship, or whether you are complying with riba requirements. What measures has your abattoir or has your business taken to ensure that you cater for these welfare issues, and also make sure that your business is Sharia compliant in terms of riba?
Yeah, these are very important points, Awal, because we always believe that if you're selling halal, but then your people, when they're paying you, part of that money is going towards riba or other facilities like that. It's not the way that Muslim should be running the business.
Yeah.
So our business, we don't have any riba within the business. We have Islamic bank accounts and we have conventional bank accounts as well. But then that riba is taken out and given to charity. The only reason we have conventional is because the Islamic banks in the UK, mashallah, they've been developing well, but they're still new and young. So they can't provide all the facilities. So we're still supporting them by using them. But as a policy, we have a riba-free policy in terms of we don't want there to be any haram income within our business. So
let me just ask a question on it. You said even if you have a conventional bank account, the interest is given to charity. Can you throw more light on that? If you decide to reinvest that money in your business, what are the implications from Islamic perspective? As I said, I want other business to learn from good practice. Somebody may be doing halal business and is not aware of this. Why wouldn't you reinvest the interest into your business?
Yeah, so the riba is the base definition of riba is that you're basically making money from money itself rather than making money from a share of the profits of trade or the renting of an asset. Okay. And because money isn't a commodity in and of itself, it's a means of exchange. And so it cannot be sold or bought itself, okay, but it can be invested, it can be exchanged for a different type of money. So currency exchange is different because there are two different types. So with riba, it means that you've made money on top of money itself as opposed to investing it somewhere. That then becomes haram income. So it's the same as if we were selling alcohol, it's the same as if we were selling pork. The alcohol and the pork itself is forbidden to consume, but the income you derive from that itself is forbidden for you to consume yourself or to benefit from that. So because of and with conventional banking, you have two choices. You can tell the bank that we don't want to take any interest at all. We want to be completely safe from this. You keep the interest. Wow. Or you can take the position that we've taken, which is that, look, the banks are going to make their money anyway.
Yeah.
If you don't take the interest out, they're just going to have more money to give out to other people.
Yeah.
So to try to reduce that, we take the interest, but we take it out and then give it into our foundation, which that riba money is used for emergency situations. It's used for fighting debt relief. It's used riba to fight social harams like alcohol abuse, drugs abuse, sexual abuse. Use them to those charities that will help those causes against society. So it's so any haram income, and I'm mentioning riba generally, any haram income in the business should be cleansed out and then given to charity. We're trying to start Islamic banking because it's about trying to see how they develop their assets, have more liquidity, so then they can offer more Islamic banking and financial services. So it's when customers pay for our product, they'll know that none of that money is going to go towards a riba product.
Mashallah, that is very intuitive, Rizvan, and I hope people will learn from just that. Even if they don't learn from the entire video that we are recording, I hope people will learn from what you've just mentioned. Now let's move on to other issues. You mentioned charity. That means you do have some charitable component. You do give to charity. Can you tell us what charitable activities you do and which ones are very dear to your heart?
Yeah, so charity generally, there's a lot of reward for it, both in this life and in the afterlife.
Yeah.
And as Muslims, we have the minimum requirement, which is zakah. And for those brothers and sisters, non-Muslim brothers and sisters who don't know, so zakah is in essence is 2.5% of your net current assets. So it's your in effect your cash less your liabilities, and 2.5% of that you give to as a minimum you give to poor people. So we always give more than that. And so as a business, what we do is because the business is owned by Muslims, um, so as a Muslim shareholders are liable for the zakah, but the business can pay the zakah on their behalf, and that's more tax efficient as well. And so we then look at our balance sheet at the end of the year, and then we then calculate what's zakatable, what's not zakatable on each account. And this is where my accountancy comes in.
Yeah.
And because and another small thing, because we're calculating zakat on a company, the rate is actually 2.577% rather than 2.5%. The
Okay.
reason being is that a company has a 365-day a year solar year, and the zakat is on the lunar year, which is 10 days shorter. So 2.5% times 365 divided by 355 gives you 2.577. So it's actually a slightly higher rate than normal.
Mashallah.
So you work that out, and then that's the amount that you allocate to give to zakat. And again, the zakat is predominantly given to the poor and needy, so those who kind of look after themselves or who don't have enough for their needs. And there's some great organizations like Islamic Relief, like National Zakah Foundation, and they're doing a really good job internationally and in the UK as well.
Yeah.
That's what we do on the monetary side. But also, being a slaughterhouse, we also offer akika and qurbani services. And mashallah, a lot of the donors are very generous, and then they give a third of their qurbani or akika, and many times they give the whole of it to charity. So we then facilitate the cutting up of that and the distribution of that meat to charity.
Wow.
To give you an example, over the last 3-4 years, we probably averaged a qurbani time maybe around 10 ton of lamb meat a year that went to UK food banks. And this is high quality uh, lamb and sheep meat, and the food banks don't receive that because of the high price point of lamb.
Yeah.
So it's something that they're amazed by, and it's they look forward to it each year.
Yeah. Just to clarify, Rizvan, when you are donating the Qurbani meat to charity in the UK, do you discriminate and donate to only Muslims, or do you the food banks you donate to maybe benefit may be of benefit to non-Muslims as well?
It's the vast majority is going to non-Muslims.
MashaAllah, mashallah. This is worth highlighting because it's not just about Muslims, it's about humanity. You trying to support humanity rather than Muslims. So if somebody is thinking of doing Qurbani, you brought a Qurbani in there, doing Qurbani and looking for assurance that the product will be of benefit to people, what measures have you got in place? So after the Qurbani, are you able to report on what you've done? Or once you do it, you want the people who are doing it to trust you and say, look, Rizvan would have done it. Or do you have some sort of blogs or some sort of reports that you prepare that donors can access after the donation?
Yeah, the Qurbani itself is there's a lot of planning that goes into it. So we have to make sure that we're buying the right animals of the right age, because you can only slaughter certain age. And the Qurbani has to be slaughtered at the right time, because it has to be after the Eid Salah within that short 3-day window.
Yeah.
So we print the time and date on the tickets to give people assurance of that. And then when we cut it up, we weigh everything that goes out to the individuals, and we weigh everything that goes to charity. So we then produce a blog to sort of say that of the weights that gone to charity, this is the weight that went to this charity, this is the weight that went to this charity, and they or these individuals or these food banks, and then we take pictures and then have an annual blog where we sort of show where that meat has been distributed to. And we try to vary it. We try to have different organizations each year, different beneficiaries, just so more people can sort of benefit from it.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. You've been very, very helpful with your time and also the questions we've thrown to you. Now, my last question, and I promise this is gonna be my last question. We cannot have a podcast on with a meat processor without talking about Brexit. What's your view about Brexit? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? Has it impacted your business in a positive or in a negative way?
Yeah, I'm trying to stay clear of politics, but just from a pure lamb exporter perspective, Brexit has been negative. We have now much more administration, customs declarations, and veterinary certification and checks than we've had before. We estimate that in 2020, between us and the importer, we probably spent about £500,000 in extra costs.
Whoa.
Between both of us. And the other point is that there's extra time that's taken, because when we have to take extra time to prepare the documentation, and then there's extra time to cross the border at the border. So when we were selling it to wholesale customers, for example, in the markets in France, it's getting there later, which means now they can't sell it till the following day, so they're losing 1 day shelf life as well. So our share of our exports has gone down. The volume into Europe has gone down. So there has been other markets that we are looking at, and others are looking at. In the Middle East, there's some promise. There's if China opens up, there'll be some potential there. The US, hopefully that opens up, there's some potential there. So there are some other export markets which we should look at, but the EU will continue to be our dominant export market, no doubt, because it's the biggest one. It's on our doorstep. We can send fresh product there. If we go to Middle East, the fresh product is by air, which is a lot more expensive. We're going to Canada, US, it'll be frozen, which again, you're competing with New Zealand, Australia. So it's the EU will continue to be our largest market, and for us, it's about trying to minimize the Brexit friction, and then trying to make the paperwork, the costs, the timelines as smooth as possible. And we regularly now we have to come in on Saturdays just to double check the paperwork, because we have had trucks stuck, we have had trucks returned. And it's very, very expensive when that happens.
Thank you very much, Rizvan. It's been a pleasure having you on this podcast. I hope you will come back again next time if you want to clarify further information on what you've just delivered, or if there is any new information that you believe industry, consumers, certifiers, or the global halal market can benefit from. So thank you very much for your time. Do you have any final words for consumers, for processors, or for anyone?
Just my final remarks really be about Muslims will know about the principle of Ihsaan, which is excellence. That Allah Ta'ala, He expects high standards from us, and we should be expecting that from ourselves and from each other. And we should be giving each other nasiha, good advice about how we can improve our processes. It's not about being competitive or anti-competitive. It's about how we can help raise the bar for everyone, because the Muslim market is growing. There's plenty of business out there for everyone, and it's about trying to help each other to try to really give the best product to the marketplace, in a way that helps the supply chain, the farmers, the livestock markets, and we do a bit for charity at the end. So that principle of Ihsaan, excellence, is really important.
Thank you very much, Rizvan.
Thank you.